You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
New Fortress Energy recently hosted an entrepreneurship workshop at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, and Business Access TV was there to bring you the highlights. Stay tuned.
I've had the pleasure of chatting with Danny over the last few weeks and having lovely conversation last evening. And you will know that Danny is the executive director of the Jonathan M. Nelson Center for Entrepreneurship at Brown University. But what you probably don't know is that he's not just a professor at a university, he's first and foremost an entrepreneur. He started and sold many businesses, and he is globally recognized for his teaching of entrepreneurship. And he's very passionate about this. And, you know, people who are in this field tend to be very passionate, just like you as entrepreneurs. I know that Danny is going to get a lot more into his background, so I won't say very much more, except to welcome you, Danny, to Jamaica. It's his first time. Let's give him a warm Jamaican welcome.
Like many of you in this room, I am an entrepreneur. I'm somebody who's had some pretty deep, long-term, successful entrepreneurial experience. And that dates back to when I was even an undergraduate at Brown University. I was a history concentrator. Any other liberal arts concentrators in the room or majors in the room? That's interesting, not that many. So I studied history. I knew nothing about business. I knew nothing. I didn't even know the word entrepreneurship. And my senior year at Brown, I was asked to join a software company. We built that company up, and in the late 80s, we sold it to Apple. And I thought, wow, that's kind of a cool thing that we did. I knew nothing about business or technology, and I was able to contribute pretty significantly to that process. By the way, to my young students, I have to clarify that in the late 80s, there were such things called computers, because they can't envision that in the 80s there were computers. But once I clarified for them, they're interested to hear, oh, you were a student at Brown and you did that. So I'm a big proponent of liberal arts, history, languages, political science as the basis of a good foundation for just about anything, and in particular for starting things, new ventures for entrepreneurship. About 13 years ago, I got a fateful tap on the shoulder from a beloved professor at Brown, somebody who had actually helped us and supported us when we were students to start that company, to teach entrepreneurship at Brown. And I was confused for a couple reasons. One, first of all, I thought he was joking, because I told him I had never taught anything, nothing, not even Sunday school. He must have the wrong guy. And besides that, how is it even possible to teach entrepreneurship? And he's not the kind of person you can easily say no to, so before I knew it, I was in front of a Brown class teaching entrepreneurship. And so I always say that teaching entrepreneurship is what I call a participation sport, not a spectator sport, meaning that you can't really teach it unless you do it. And so I want to make sure it's clear that a lot of people are sometimes confused about what even we mean by entrepreneurship. And so I want to make sure I ground us in a common understanding. And I thought I might start by involving you. And this is not a quiz. I'm not looking for you to define entrepreneurship. I'll do that for us. But what I am looking for is when I say the word entrepreneurship, and there are no right answers, what words or thoughts come to mind? When I say entrepreneurship, what word comes to mind? Being different, okay, not being like everybody else. Passion. So you have to be really excited about being different. Taking risks. Risk is often on people's minds. Half crazy. Why half crazy? Maybe all the way crazy. Exactly. What else? What other words come to mind when I say the word entrepreneurship? Patience. That's interesting. So you might not get it right the first time. It sounds like you might have some experience with that. And maybe related, I heard sleepless nights. So when it feels like you should be getting it right the first time and you don't, you have to go back to the drawing board. Maybe that's at 3 in the morning or even a little later. What else? Maybe a few other comments. Innovation. So yes, that's often a word I hear from the Latin root. I took 4 years of Latin, and my Latin teacher would be proud for me to remember that it comes from the word nova, meaning new. So it means to create something new. Yeah, so is that what you were thinking of when you thought that? Yes. What else? What other words or thoughts come to mind? Yeah. Quitting your job? Could be, yes. Right. Not necessarily, but in your point of view, that's your sense of it, that you're losing your ties to a dependable income and you're going all in by being aggressive. Could be. And maybe that leads to some of those same sleepless nights, yes? Problem solving. You took a peek at my slides, I have a feeling. Excellent, yes. So all these words resonate with the whole concept of entrepreneurship.
So New Fortress Energy is a global energy infrastructure company. What we've done in Jamaica is we've actually helped partner with JPS to introduce natural gas into Jamaica. And so we have 2 big projects in Jamaica, one in Montego Bay and one at Old Harbor, that are bringing the infrastructure into Jamaica so that we can bring clean energy to provide to power for the power plants in Jamaica, as well as industrial customers like Red Stripe, UE, and others. So we're helping the transition for Jamaica to go from the heavy fuels, the polluting fuels, to clean energy like natural gas and renewable energy like solar and wind.
How important is it for you to host an event of this nature for the entrepreneurs of Jamaica and outside of Jamaica as well?
Yeah, we are super excited to participate and help facilitate this event because entrepreneurship is so important to the economic growth and sustainable growth of an economy. Our company was founded by Wes Edens, who's a big investor in Jamaica, a big believer in the economic potential of this country, and he's an entrepreneur. So he understands the principles and the practices that you need to put in place for small businesses to grow and flourish and become medium businesses and become large businesses and employ a lot of people. And so what we want to do here is not only invest heavily in energy infrastructure, which we're already doing, but invest in the overall economy. And so we're focused on education and we're focused on entrepreneurship.
Now, how many of you have ever heard the phrase entrepreneurial spirit? Yeah, a number of you have. I have too. And I have to tell you, I cringe when I hear it. And I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't really mean anything to me. And it's the kind of fluffy phrase that might sound intriguing, but imagine if I, as a professor, were charged with teaching somebody how to have the entrepreneurial spirit. I wouldn't know where to start. And it doesn't sound like the kind of thing that you could replicate or clarify or standardize or teach somebody. And from your point of view, I don't know how you would learn the entrepreneurial spirit. And so instead, what I've done through the years, since that fateful moment when I was an undergraduate, drawn into my first entrepreneurial experience, when I was asked a few years later to teach at Brown, and I started to rack my head to say, okay, I got to do this teaching. How am I going to teach people entrepreneurship? I thought again about the fact that Brown teaches entrepreneurship in engineering. And I thought, you know what? If you're teaching somebody engineering, you're not going to say, let's say you wanted to teach them how to build a bridge, How would it sound if you said, you know what, just go out there and have the bridge building spirit? How absurd would that sound? You laughed, of course. You know, just go out there and throw up a bridge, and if it holds the trucks and the cars, terrific. And if instead they come crashing down to earth, then go out there and be persistent. Just try it again. No, that would sound totally absurd. Brown would lose its accreditation. It wouldn't have an engineering school. And yet, many of you nodded your head when I said, how many of you have heard that phrase, entrepreneurial spirit? And I contended back then, and even more so given all the experience I've had teaching people entrepreneurship, that it's even more absurd to talk to people about entrepreneurship without having it grounded in a structured process. In bridge building, in the engineering school, we've distilled out of the whole enterprise of bridge building some standard elements that you can follow that have organized components to them. A structured methodology, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Every bridge follows a certain standard type of guideline in terms of how it was built. At the same time, every bridge is different from every other. Functionally, operationally, aesthetically, and so there's room, even when you're following a structured process, for your bridge to reflect the own nuances of whatever bridge it's going to be. And similarly, in entrepreneurship, I'm going to share with you the 3 structured elements of the process that I teach that you can learn and master. And even still, just like in bridge building, there's a lot of variation in terms of the kind of ventures or startups that all of you are involved with or could be involved with. And so these are those 3 elements that I distilled into my own teaching and that I teach people all over the world. The first is find and validate an unmet need, which in short means, what's the problem? What problem are you looking to solve? And I always advise starting with defining that unmet need, especially in the context of people who are technology focused. Remember, I teach in engineering, so I'm surrounded by lots of them. And they tend to rush past defining the problem. They like to dive in with a technology that they think is a solution. The problem is, it's a solution in search of a problem. And that's a pretty costly, error-ridden way to start the process. So instead, we always start with find and validate an unmet need. The second is develop a value proposition, which is the second part of this process. And that is essentially on a small scale, what's the solution to the problem you've discovered? It could be in a lab, it could be in a maker space, it could be in a social enterprise incubator, but what's the solution to the problem you've identified on a small scale? And then really important is this third element, and it's often where I think people fall short. And actually I've heard a little bit of theme in my limited time already today in Jamaica that this is an area that people are concerned about, and that is, even if you've identified an unmet need that is worthy of addressing, even if you've developed a small-scale solution to that problem, the third element is create a sustainability model that enables you to have big impact at scale. So you're not only having impact in your small neighborhood or university or parish or even across Jamaica, but in a way that has sustainable, big impact that you can replicate, that you can scale across perhaps the entire world. So it's those 3 elements that are really critical as we think through this entrepreneurial process. And what we're going to do for the remaining time we have today is dive pretty deeply into this first one, find and validate an unmet need. I feel really strongly about doing that because I find that if you shortchange that part of the process, then you build a really flimsy foundation for what comes next. And if you build a really firm foundation by establishing a very clear and actionable unmet need, then those two other elements of value proposition and sustainability model roll themselves.
Talk to us about some of the partners that made this event possible today.
So we came in and really enlisted, saw where the ecosystem for entrepreneurship is very vibrant, very active. Jamaicans, on a whole, are really entrepreneurs themselves, and recognize some incredible organizations that were doing amazing work, like First Angels, Development Bank of Jamaica, Jamaica Business Development Corporation, Branson Center, and it's a huge ecosystem that we have tapped into. And of course, on the educational level, you have UA as well as UTech and Northern Caribbean University. So we are plugged into that mechanism. I mean, what we want to do is to add to the conversation and try to impact it via investment where, access to capital for startups are a little bit of a challenge for them. So this is one area that we're really focused on to see how we can assist micro, small, and medium-sized business to gain access to capital.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
First Angels Jamaica is one of the partners for today's entrepreneurship workshop. How did First Angels get involved?
So New Fortress Energy is our newest member of the Angel Network. And we've been talking about how we can collaborate to improve entrepreneurship in Jamaica and get people in the ecosystem closer together. So we thought that it would be a good idea to have this workshop. Danny Warshay is from Brown University, from the Jonathan M. Nelson Center for Entrepreneurship. And, New Fortress has a relationship with Brown. And so they suggested that we have Danny as our speaker, and we were thrilled to have him. So we have been working with our ecosystem partners, with the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, with the Branson Center of Entrepreneurship, and First Angels, and other partners to target the people that they are working with, the young entrepreneurs that they're working with, and you can see them here today. We're very pleased that our partners have come through, and the young people who are working with the various business service institutions, especially through the DBJ's program and Branson Center and JBDC, have come today to hear Danny, because his talk has been very important for young people and not so young people who are starting businesses and learning how to be better entrepreneurs.
So how can you guys start to implement bottom-up research? Take some notes on these flip charts, because then we're going to hear from some of your tables as you report back to the whole group.
So we have little points here, because we're trying to strategize, and we're saying, all right, observation of the deaf community. How do we communicate to them? We do not know sign language, but I do have a friend who's deaf, but they can text. You can ask them to teach you things. You understand? Accessibility. They don't want to feel excluded in anything. In society, we tend to use our own biases because we're so imperfect about certain things. We're saying, okay, they're not going to understand that because they're deaf. They might be deaf, but they're still human, and they do have different aspirations like us. So we're saying, all right, what is most important to them? What can be done to improve their circumstances? Can we include the government in it? Can we do like voluntary services? We should shadow them, shadow one person, and do a one-to-one thing with them. be more personal with them, empathize with them, gaining their trust. Because most of the time you're not going to be trustworthy. Putting yourself in their shoe. Continuous documentation. You're not going to write right in front of them, you know. You're going to write at home in your diary. Aspiration, what drives them? What get them up in the morning? Probably the possible solution that we could find is try to get entrepreneurs who are in different sectors, like I'm in the tourism industry, she's in gastronomy, he's in the food packaging industry, she does jewelry making, and she caters to the deaf community.
Our unmet need was weight loss management. I don't know if you've been looking in the newspapers, but lifestyle illnesses is a major topic in Jamaica, and we have Jamaica Moves. We have a lot of movements about losing weight, but what we don't have a lot of products for is maintenance, which is far more difficult than losing weight. And so we looked at, we did the bottom-up research, but we've been asked to look at the adaptations. So some of the, I should turn it around a little bit, cultural differences. Jamaicans like products from overseas. It will be very hard to get them to buy into a local product, and so we'd have to look at adapting it for the Jamaican market. Our culture, of course, which, you know, we have a lot of music and a lot of cultural proverbs which revere fat women, and so we'd have to look at how we would approach that. We definitely have a quick fix mentality. We don't like maintenance. And so we actually also included a no maintenance mentality. We have a lot of projects that we start, but the follow through is just not there. And we also thought maybe some persons might be reluctant to participate in a project like this.
The DBJ, as you know, has a major focus on entrepreneurship. And we have one of our big projects for this year is how are we going to take entrepreneurship and innovation to another level. So when New Fortress Energy came and was looking to expand the work that they're doing in entrepreneurship in Jamaica, one of the entities that they spoke with was with the University of the West Indies. And we have a close relationship with the university. So they gave us a call to say New Fortress was looking to become involved. And, you know, basically having invested in Jamaica's energy sector, they saw where they could actually, through their foundation, actually contribute to entrepreneurship development in Jamaica. And based on the work that we are already doing, the university thought that it would be a good fit for us to actually meet with New Fortress and partner with them on some of these initiatives.
How can entrepreneurs at each stage, whether startup, established, how can they benefit from the workshop and apply all the tools necessary?
It's a great question. And I even gave some examples of ventures that were well into their several decades of development. And what I teach is something that I know from my own experience can be used in all sorts of different kinds of aged contexts. So, for example, in many cases, I'm asked to teach this entrepreneurial process in very big, well-established companies. And it's because they recognize that some of their threat, some of their biggest challenge, some of their most significant competition is coming from the early stage companies who are using this process, and they need to learn it for their own safeguard and defensibility. So I've never seen a context in which we couldn't apply the entrepreneurial process that I teach for the benefit of whoever's asking me to teach there. That could be very early stage, it can be very late stage. It doesn't even have to be in a business context. I teach this entrepreneurial process all across the Brown ecosystem in virtually every discipline you could find. In some cases, that third element I described, the sustainability model, is a business model. In other cases, it isn't. When I'm working with neuroscience researchers, the outcome there is better neuroscience research. When I'm dealing with doctors at the Brown Medical School or Brown medical students, the outcome isn't necessarily a commercialized product. It could be better medical outcomes. When I'm dealing with the philosophy department at Brown, the outcome is how do we think through the ethics of entrepreneurship? So we think at Brown very expansively about the wide application of this process, not narrowly as just a method for creating a business.
That's it for our coverage of the New Fortress Energy Entrepreneurship Workshop with special guest Danny Warshay. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Alison Turner from Turner's Innovations. There is so much to know about your company. So many new developments since last year when you won Best New Product. What can you tell us about what has developed since last year till now?
Well, you know, invention doesn't happen overnight, and we're the inventors of the first machine in the world that can strip sorrel. So we decided that we needed to earn some money while we're waiting for the machine to come to light. So much has happened since then. We diversified our portfolio. We brought out a line of products, and last year, as you rightly said, we won Best New Product. Total surprise, and really, really glad, really happy. It's really helped us push forward. So this is an amazing event, the premium event of the year to be a part of. And then to our surprise, we were invited back to talk about our developments over the year, and we got nominated again for a new product that we brought out for Expo, which is our white sorrel. So you have regular sorrel, then you have white sorrel that's never really been packaged before. Right, so we're going to be doing an exclusive of this in the Christmas as a real special gift. We've packaged it in a gift bag for you. And what we're doing here today is we're just sampling and showing people how to use sorrel in many, many different ways.
Okay, so let's start with the ways, which is?
So this, I think, might be our next product. We're not sure, going to be on the market. But this is candied sorrel that's been put into a granola bar. And it's really natural. It's honey. And oats, really healthy for you, and just a lightweight, and it's soft, right? So it's not too crunchy, and it's light.
All right, now Alison, there are even more exciting things happening inside this booth than you've told us. What can you tell me about what's happening over there?
Okay, so we diversified, and we brought, just really showing Jamaica that sorrel can be used in so many different ways. So we came out with a sauce. It's sweet and spicy. So it's just, it's kind of gourmet-ish. I wouldn't say it's kind of like your regular sauce. It's something you can use on chicken or fish. What we've done here is we've done a pomme de terre au fromage avec espagnole, which is really just really posh way of saying potato, cheese, and spinach, but it sounds much nicer. And then, yes, so we've just put it with chicken, and then we've added some of the sweet and spicy sauce on top of it. Would you like to taste?
Of course. Okay. Do I say no to tasting? Eva, you're going to have to hold the microphone for me again.
Problem. Always a pleasure. So this is the...
Right, so I need to be easy.
Yeah, you just, yeah, you can do. Just taste it all together.
Okay.
With the sauce.
There we go. I can't talk.
It's really nice, right? The cheese and the sweet and the spice, just a little bit of spice, so it's not too spicy.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and it's really good on like roast chicken. You can actually put it on chicken and roast it as well. It gives it kind of a glaze. It's kind of a honeyish kind of feel to it. Really, really nice.
This is delicious. I mean, delicious. Alison, as a small business, how would you say the food awards or events like this contribute to the development of your business?
Oh, it's the guru of foods, you know. So to be recognized, I mean, when we were nominated last year, it was such a shock for us. We were just really happy to be here, just be part of the event. We had no idea. I mean, I'm normally kind of a little clued up on what we might win or what we might not win, but this was a total, people who were in the industry, then people want to try. If it's good enough for the Joneses, you know, then it's good enough for everybody.
So what I really want to ask you is what's next for you guys?
We wanted to bring something to market that was going to add value to the farmers and help the country to grow. So we went back to the drawing board. We had a look at our invention again, and we've actually come up with something now. I'm not saying any more, But very, very, very soon, we'll be hitting you with something new. Big.
You're going to win Best New Product again.
We'll be back on the scene again with the machine, which I think is what everybody's really hoping and waiting for.
Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you, Alison. I wish you all the best. I'm so impressed by your business, and good luck with everything.
Thank you.
What?
Hey, what up, you guys? It's your girl, Vivica Fox, and you are watching Business Access.
It's National Heritage Month, and we're so happy that you could join us for Day 3. As always, we have a lot planned for you, so join the Jubilee as we bring you stories from way back then. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is Jamaica Magazine. Do stay with us.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, October 3. The House of Representatives has approved an extension for the state of public emergency in 3 Kingston and St. Andrew police divisions. The security forces will take hold of a 9.1 square kilometer radius encompassing the Kingston Central, Kingston Western, and the St. Andrew police divisions until January 7, 2019. This after the state of public emergency was in effect for 14 days starting September 23. In piloting the resolution Tuesday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the 3-month extension became necessary due to persistent gang rivalry and violent crimes which have affected the livelihood of persons in the communities.
Sadly, a continuing development is the inclusion of children who are victims of and are also being used in the furtherance of crime. The informed opinion of the security forces has been that the level of criminal activity experienced continue to be a threat in certain areas and is of such a nature and so extensive in scale as to endanger public safety.
Mr. Holness also used the opportunity to laud the men and women of the security forces for the further decline in the island's crime rate, which now stands at 20.9%. The first stage of the National Architectural Design Competition for the development of the new Houses of Parliament complex is near completion. The 5 submissions selected for the second stage and a public exhibition of entries for the project is scheduled for the second week of October 2018. As for the wider Government Oval project, government is currently engaged in a feasibility study which will consider viable options for financing and implementation. Prime Minister Andrew Holness gave those updates during Tuesday's question and answer segment in Parliament. He also debunked assertions that the master plan for the project includes the demolition of nearly all buildings in the area.
The master plan does not propose the demolition of virtually all buildings around the National Heroes Park, including the existing Ministries of Finance, Education and Labour and most of Almanton. In fact, the master plan proposes the redevelopment of the entire area around the park.
Plans are also in place to conduct public consultations. A memorandum of understanding was signed in March last year for consultancy works to develop the Government Oval project. Still in Parliament Tuesday, the House approved the first supplementary estimate for the 2018-2019 fiscal year. This will allow the government to spend an additional $17.42 billion. First tabled in the House on September 25, the budget moved from $773.68 billion to $791.11 billion. Recurrent expenses now stand at $572.46 billion, up from $560 billion. Development spending has also increased by $5 billion to $218.64 billion. Enhanced security measures, the Major Infrastructure Development Program, local authorities, and the re-verification of voters account for the bulk of the increase in funds. Persons are being urged to reduce their risk of being victims of cybercrime by exercising caution when downloading links from the internet.
Cybercrime is a global challenge. It's not only a Jamaican problem, but indeed especially Jamaica is positioning themselves for a Vision 2030. We've seen a proliferation of digital devices, and we're expecting that more online crimes will emanate from this.
Assistant Superintendent Warren Williams made the call at a recent JIS think tank. The National Cyber Incident Response Team, CERT, is spearheading activities for October, which is being observed as Cybersecurity Awareness Month. 2 cyber roadshows, training of government agencies, a school tour, as well as a jingle competition and social media campaigns are planned. And finally, more than $10 million is expected to be earned from cruise ship arrivals during the winter tourist season. This as world-renowned cruise line TU and their Marilla passenger ship have committed to make stops at the island's ports during the season, which begins in December. The cruises are projected to have on board over 26,000 passengers. Portfolio Minister Edmund Bartlett made the announcement of the cruise line bookings following his recent visit to London, England for Jamaica Travel Market. These additional passengers follow on the heels of securing a record 1.3 million airplane seats out of the Americas for the upcoming winter tourist season. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Hear this. Youth, older people, mature people, anyone who is listening right now, don't wait for extraordinary moments. Seize small opportunities and make them great. I've learned that through this experience. So if you have an idea, there's something that you want to do and you have not sought out an avenue, trust me, the time is now. Get it done.
Our music has experienced several changes throughout the years. Walk with us through the various stages.
Relax, man, we'll soon get there. In fact, we are here, the Institute of Jamaica. This is where we're going.
What is this, Grandpa?
When you go in, you'll see. Come on, let's go.
Oh, where's a carry me someplace where me no want to go?
You say you want to be a musician? Well, you have to come here. Let me show you where the music is coming from. Step inside. See, this is where I wanted to come. You see how far Jamaican music coming from, Kadeen? These are Tainas, the first people, and see, they're playing drums and dancing. And look at these African instruments. That's when the first Africans came to Jamaica. Now, I bet you don't know what this instrument is.
Rumba box?
It is a rumba box, and you hear that in what kind of music now?
Mento.
Mento, that's what makes the mento music so sweet. Now, look at this. This is jazz music. Jamaica had a rich tradition of jazz. Coming right out of Alpha Boys School, you see it? Right after jazz, the same jazz musicians were playing R&B.
I found my thrill.
That came from America. And when the R&B dried up from America, then they started making Jamaican R&B. turned the R&B around and made their own Jamaican style of R&B music, which then led to ska.
It was the beginning of independence. Ska was looked upon as the new sound of Jamaica. Oh, we finding our own identity, not following the American R&B or the ballad or the middle of the road kind of music that was coming from North America and Europe. And so it was very nationalist in its outlook and output.
Gather together, be brothers and sisters, we're independent. Join hands to hands, children started to dance, we're independent. Oh, be sad and blue. The Lord is still with you. God bless, no one curse. Thank God I'm not the worst.
Seems like the music always speak about social issues.
A lot of the music is about social issues. After all, life is music and music is life. After ska, you got Rocksteady.
Rocksteady, the rhythm, the ska still continue, but the bass rock, and the guitar and the piano, ska same way, but the bass, the emphasis on the bass, so yeah, fall back on you.
Well, it look as if we can hear music here.
I like this, Grandpa.
This
nice.
is Rocksteady. No, you should have seen me and your grandmother in those days. Rocking steady.
Yeah, Grandpa.
Yes. That's Alton Ellis, you know. The great Rocksteady singer. But we turn down the people things here. Next thing, they throw us out of here. And go back to watch this thing.
But Grandpa, you've been talking about Jamaican music for how long now? And until now, I haven't heard anything about reggae.
Well, we're coming right up to reggae now. Here we are, reggae. Well, first of all, many people say that reggae was born at Sir Coxson's Studio 1 on Brentford Road.
Clement Dad brought a piece of machinery to the studio for about a year. It was sitting there. And no one knew exactly what to do with it. And so they hooked it up one day and decided to implement it. And they discovered it was a tape delay. And so they hooked it into the machine and they started doing it into the recording. So when they put the guitar sound through the tape delay, it comes back saying, the rest of studios hearing this recording out, they thought it was the guitar making that and just copied that, and that was the birth of reggae music.
I want to do the reggae, girl, with you. Yeah, come on to me.
Here are some of the great artists who came out of that. Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and Bonnie Livingston, the Wailers, Burning Spear, and so on. Now, reggae was also a way of life. It was the greatest advertisement for Rastafari.
I think it's my time to teach you a little bit.
What can you teach me?
Come right here, sir.
Oh, dancehall. I know that's when you were going to get happier.
It was just a little bit different in the 80s where you have more artists that come and you have to compete with artists like every day, and the dancehall vibes. When you go into the dancehall, you know, you have to just hold the mic to get a bus. And now it's different. You just have a CD, go to the radio station and get some airplay.
The 90s had these persons like Beenie Man, Lady Saw, and Bounty Killer. Up to today, Beenie Man and Bounty Killer still have swag. Right now, we have producers that are artists that are producers, and radio jocks who are doing both. with technology, the music is now diverse.
We are accepting music on a broader scale. One time gone till you want to hear hip-hop music or techno music being played in a dancehall setting. And that is happening right now. A lot of pop music is being accepted. Disco music, techno music, electro house music is being accepted right now. Hip-hop music is widely accepted right now. So we as Jamaican, we are listening to a wide cross-section of music.
That means that we took music and turned it into Jamaican music, and we have given it back to the world, and everything has now come together. Kadeem, the tour done. See, it wasn't that bad after all.
For real, Grandpa. Really inspired by all of this. Well, out of many, we're really one music.
And you might yet become a good musician.
Thanks, Grandpa.
Yes.
Living in Jamaica is an experience that you cannot put in words. There's an energy in the atmosphere that just feels good. There's so many aspects of Jamaica that I think makes it second to none. The best food, the best music, the best people. We can go on and on about the good things about living in Jamaica. There's a parish in Jamaica called Portland. I think that's one of my favorite places to be. It's one of the most nature-oriented parishes, and I love the nightlife in Kingston. Once you come here and you get that connection with the people, that connection with the food and the music and just the lifestyle is something that you'll always remember. People should visit Jamaica because I'm sure 100% that it is the place to be on planet Earth. You need to come here and you'll get an experience that you will never forget.
The Jamaica Product Exchange, or JPEX, the annual tourism trade show, showcased an impressive group of buyers and sellers networking to advance the tourism industry. And we have the highlights.
Tourism business with Spanish, African, French, and American countries has been strengthened as a result of the 2018 staging of the Jamaica Product Exchange, JPEX. Approximately 69 companies and 97 delegates from across the world, including Colombia, Mexico, Argentina, Spain, France, Nigeria, and the United States of America, were in on the action, September 23 to 25. The Jamaica Product Exchange is an annual event hosted by the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, JHTA, in partnership with the state-owned Jamaica Tourist Board. For 28 years, JPEX has been successfully bringing together the suppliers of Jamaica's tourism product with global buyers in the industry. And this year, the number of participants blossomed. The over 91 suppliers negotiated with some 97 buyers. Also included at the trade were travel agents, snatching bookings for winter 2018 and beyond.
You do come from diverse areas to help us to drive the development of this great product that we have here and to bring to the market the presence of this wonderful destination.
Each day, the meetings ended with an opportunity to unwind.
I feel good when you wrapped up in my arms. Dancing to a reggae song, it feels good, feels good.
The mornings, however, were very business-centered, with great minds collaborating and networking inside the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James. In the midst of the business deals were workshops. They addressed critical topics such as marketing small properties, interior decorating, energy efficiency, and revenue management. The country's tourism linkages network was also represented at the JPEX Expo. The network sought to deepen the connection between tourism and other key sectors such as manufacturing, agriculture, and entertainment, particularly so with the international market. JPEX 2018 provided the perfect platform for local suppliers, especially the smaller tourism stakeholders, to get much-needed exposure in the marketplace. JPEX 2018, the private and public sectors partnering for the development of the tourism industry.
Come out and support Jamaica's Sunshine Girls as they compete in an exciting international test series. Jamaica will compete in a week of competition against Trinidad and Tobago's Calypso Girls, followed by the England Roses. The countries compete at the National Indoor Sports Centre on Arthur Wint Drive, Kingston 5. Tickets are sold online at ticketpal.com and in limited amount at the venue on match days. Feel the rhythm, catch the vibe with Jamaica's national netball team, the Sunshine Girls.
It's
The Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, is working with the government through improved technology to help make Jamaicans safer. Learn more next.
The Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, is helping to build safer communities through the Jamaica Crime Observatory Enhancement Project. Established in 2011, the Jamaica Crime Observatory is a web-based crime and violence data bank hosted by the Ministry of National Security.
The project is seeking to enhance the capacity of the Ministry of National Security, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and a number of other stakeholders in their response to data collection, data entry, data dissemination, and data analysis. This is a World Bank funded initiative. It is valued at 44 million Jamaican dollars.
The upgrade to the system falls under JSIF's Integrated Community Development Project, ICDP. The aim of the ICDP is to improve basic infrastructure and social services delivered to 18 targeted at-risk communities. JSIF seeks to use data from the Crime Observatory to inform the planning of social and technical interventions to be implemented in the Institute of Forensic Science and Legal Medicine.
We collect data from murder statistics to sexual offenses, suicide, traffic fatalities, hospital data, fatal shootings for various parishes in Jamaica.
The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is the primary source of data for the observatory. Under the project, the Statistics and Information Management Unit of the JCF has received handheld GPS devices to assist in increasing the accuracy of data collected.
From the perspective of the crime scene, the forensic crime scene analysts utilize the handheld devices provided by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund to map the exact location of each crime. The devices are also able to take photographs of the environment within which the crime occur. With that information, the analysts are able to get a better context within which the crime occur. And that has been very significant in our analysis process.
In addition, the gadget also assists us to be able to do analysis, temporal analysis of the time crime take place. If you plot those information on a graph, you can see over a period of time, you can be able to determine trend, so you can do trend analysis.
As part of the JSIF funding, the unit also received laptops, desktop computers, firewall devices, servers, UPS devices, and software packages to improve the efficiency of processing the data collected.
It allows us to provide data to the Crime Observatory in a much faster turnaround time than the monthly cycle that we usually provide the data to the Crime Observatory.
Additionally, 2 data entry clerks have been employed by the unit to assist with the timely input of information into the system. The Ministry of National Security will also receive funding to engage the services of a crime analyst.
What the engagement of the crime analyst will do is that they will help with better forecasting and predicting utilizing data which is in the crime observatory.
The project, which started in 2017, will also fund the training of 7 Ministry of National Security staff and 8 persons from the Jamaica Constabulary Force in the areas of system maintenance, spatial analysis, and the use of ArcGIS software technology. Improvements to the Jamaica Crime Observatory are essential to various stakeholders in the formulation of policies and strategies to keep Jamaicans safe.
What the Crime Observatory is able to do is provide us with good, timely, accurate data for us able to craft our policies, and from crafting our policies we're able to then craft acceptable strategies to help with the crime and violence and citizen security.
With geographic information system, we can actually pinpoint the exact location of a crime. We can pinpoint the area, such as a shop or a bar, that is likely to be affected by a particular type of crime, which means that we can practice preventative policing. We can actually preempt what is likely to take place, put in strategy in order to prevent those occurrences.
Through the Jamaica Crime Observatory Enhancement Project, the Jamaica Social Investment Fund is enhancing the efficient collection and analysis of crime and violence statistics, building on the capacity of the government to better plan crime-fighting strategies.
This October 1 through to 5 is being celebrated as National Customer Service Week. During the period, we are reminded of the importance of good customer service and of the people who serve and support customers on a daily basis. Now, good customer service increases the loyalty of customers, and it boosts morale, motivation, and teamwork of employees. So as we go throughout the week, roll out the red carpet for every customer met and staff employed to deliver quality service. And just watch the domino effect. Positivity begat positivity. Your one good deed will help to transform Jamaica into the place of choice.
I love waking up every day in this country. This is where I was born and raised. I have such a passion for my country, and for me, this is home. In Jamaica, a lot of people, they look at just like beach, you know, sea, sand, but our mountains are something to behold. It's majestic up there, and it's a different type of peace. It's a different type of lifestyle completely. I could mention many different places that are amazing, but the one thing I do love about Jamaica as well is that you can find that relaxation, you can find that chill in your backyard. Apart from it being an incredibly beautiful country, an incredibly beautiful island, we have a wonderful, wonderful culture, wonderful, vibrant, colorful people. There is definitely a realness to Jamaica. There's definitely something that no matter what keeps you in touch with reality here. Why come to Jamaica? It all comes back down to Jamaica as a whole. You know, the food, the music, the culture, the people, the climate. Come out and meet us, come out and experience what Jamaica has to offer.
And this is where we'll have to leave you for today's show. But do join us again tomorrow for what promises to be another informative edition. If you missed anything at all, watch it again on our website or our YouTube page. And don't forget, keep up with us via our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Remember to join in the Heritage Month Jubilee as we celebrate Jamaican culture. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access. Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Business Access TV welcomes you to the launch of Weddings JA. I'm your host, Amita Prasad-Webb, and today we're here in the gardens of the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Please stay tuned for highlights.
So Shangri-La Flowers and Gifts is a wedding company and an all-rounded wedding company. We're located in Montego Bay and Ocho Rios. So what we do is wedding decor, wedding florals, wedding rental, and also wedding planning. So really a one-stop shop for your wedding as well. So you guys, this event we thought would be a perfect way to come into the Kingston market since we don't yet have a store in Kingston.
It's the launch of Weddings JA. What are your thoughts thus far? Turnout and the other booths?
Well, actually, it looks really well. I'm glad at the turnout, despite, weather had set to be rainy. So I'm glad with the turnout as well. And the booths are actually looking really well. So we're happy that we had sponsored this amazing event.
So talk to us about Tent City. What is it that you guys do?
We're a tent company, and what we do is rent different tents for different occasions, weddings, party, graduations, you name it.
Talk to us about the relationship between Tent City and Weddings JA.
Well, we're one of the sponsors, and they call us and we partnered with them, and that's why we're here today.
What's next for Tent City?
Well, what's next for Tent City is that we have new and upcoming tents, and for the December period, as we're here now, this is one of our new tents. It's a skylight. We have it here just to show the customers to see if they'll take it, because it's kind of different, you understand? And just to showcase our new tent.
I think when people think of tents, they think of one type of tent. Can you give us some examples of the different types of tents that Tent City offers?
Well, our tents are white, really, and mostly high-peak, and we have different sizes. The sizes vary from 10 by 10, and we can go as far as 40 by 100.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome fashion from Lust Yosh Design DJ. Let's go. Make some noise for Lust Yosh Fashion. So where can we find you? Take it down.
All right, so you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Lust Yosh Designs, or you can email us at lustyoshdesigns@gmail.com. Number 873-7319. Thank you.
Talk to us about Sparkles Productions.
Well, we're a production company, but we do other stuff as well. We do weddings.
So not only do we do the sound and the flooring and the lighting and the trussing, we do decor, we do flowers, we do invitations, we do photography. So we are a one-stop. So I know a lot of people think Sparkles Productions, they think of big stage shows, they think of music, they think of sound. But we do have a department for weddings. And because we come with everything, we are able to give better costings.
You're here today as a sponsor at Weddings JA. Talk to us about that relationship.
Sure. Well, Renisha called me and said, check out our new site, and I did, and I liked it. I like the idea of everybody in the wedding industry coming together. And so when she called me and said she's doing a launch, I said, yes, count me in. I'll be there. I like it. I like the networking. And I like to see what everybody else is doing.
All right, so talk to us about your business, 81 Sound Entertainment.
All right, my business. Originally, I'm an event promoter. I've been so for probably like the better part of 20 years. Made the decision about 3 years ago to branch out into service provision. Here am I, 81 Sound Entertainment. So I've used all the experience that I've garnered in my almost 2 decades and turned it into service provision and, and to provide quality service. So that's basically it.
Talk to us about the relationship between Weddings JA and 81 Sound.
All right, Weddings JA now. When they originally started their promotion, I liked the idea of having a wedding directory. And I like the concept of launching that directory and their service in the form of a wedding show. And I approached them and said, hey, I'm willing to work with you guys. And they accepted, and I'm gracious for their acceptance and for the opportunity. And we worked together, and we created an experience. As you can see by the turnout, they did a wonderful job where marketing is concerned and the layout and so forth. And, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to work with them.
Now, the aim of this competition is called Professing Your Love. It's called what? Professing Your Love. What is it called? Professing Your Love. It's pretty simple. The couple that professes their love the best through kiss wins. All right, so you're going to all start after 3. So face your partner. All right. Take a hand out on a pocket. Remember, and this is going to last for 15 seconds. Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm trying to be as well as you. Your dresses look stunning. Don't they look stunning, ladies? Come on, make some noise, ladies. All right, so tell us more about your company and where we can find you and all your contact information.
All right, so it's Bliss Bridal Boutique. We are located at 7 to 9 Arden Road in our new big, nice, fabulous location. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook at Bliss Bridal JA. Our telephone number is 876-622-2547, or for ease, it's actually 876-62-BLISS.
All right, talk to us about Victoria House Events Limited.
All right, Victoria House Events Limited is located at 11 Lindsay Crescent. What we do all year functions, but we mainly do weddings. We do from a pin to an anchor. The only thing we don't do is find the gentleman, but we find everything else: the dresses, the cake, the food, the pastor, the location, just about everything.
Today you're here at Weddings JA launch. Talk to us about your experience here today.
It has been an awesome day. Beyond my wildest dream. We had so many persons coming in. It was just busy, busy, busy all day, all morning. People just keep coming. But it was good. It's a good experience. And for sure, we'll be in this next year.
WeddingsJA.com is Jamaica's premier online wedding directory, offering an impressive list of over 1,000 Jamaica-based wedding vendors. She has a bachelor's in entertainment management and a master's in marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the founder, the CEO, the woman herself, Renisha James. Make some noise. She's the reason why we're here today. And to have the symbolic launching of the website, we're going to be having the cutting of the ribbon. Are you ready? So we're going to count down from 5. And you're going to count with me. Ready? 5. Shout it. 5. Round of applause, round of applause. All right, Renisha, tell us more about the vision behind WeddingsJA.com.
Well, you know, people are always getting married, and any bride-to-be will tell you that planning a wedding is no easy feat. So, this website was created to make it absolutely easy for the bride to find everything that she could ever need. I mean, we have honeymoon, makeup artists, venues, photographers, decorators, rings, dresses, DJs, MCs, you name it, everything is on WeddingsJA.com. So ladies and grooms to be, you can, in the comfort of your bedroom or your living room, just go online and find everything that you're looking for with one click. Isn't that amazing?
It's the launch of WeddingsJA.com. Congrats, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling so good.
How did the idea come about?
Well, I saw that there was a need for brides-to-be to find everything that they really needed to plan their wedding successfully with ease. And so I thought that this would be a really, really good thing to introduce to the market to fill that gap.
The day is almost over. What's the feedback been like so far?
It's been amazing. People are like, is this going to be an annual event? This is so awesome. I really had fun. Like, it's been so much positive feedback, so I'm really happy.
Now that your website has launched, what's the next step?
The next step is for wedding businesses all across Jamaica to get listed so that the brides-to-be and the grooms-to-be can find them easily, because that's what Weddings JA is all about. In addition to brides signing up on the website, we have discounts from our vendors that brides can also get when they sign up. And it's really just to let everyone know that we are open for business. Log on to the website, brides, find everything that you need, vendors, get listed.
And there you have it, the launch of Weddings JA. I've been your host, Amita Prasad-Web, and thank you for tuning in to Business Access TV, serious about business.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
You're watching Business Access TV. Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
If you're looking for a sleek, sporty, and spacious vehicle, then the C-Class may be just for you. Business Access TV is here at Silver Star Motors for the C-Class Mercedes-Benz facelift launch. I'm your host, Amita Prasad-Web. Please stay tuned for highlights.
Welcome to the launch of the new C-Class. The new look C-Class is the biggest model update in the car's history, with 6,500 updates and new additions. We are going to show you 3 different models, and I hope you enjoy it.
Welcome. So, the Mercedes-Benz, best or nothing. And in order for us to keep that true, the brand has to keep improving. So, we're in the 5th generation of the C-Class. It's the most successful model for Mercedes-Benz. And the C-Class has been comprehensively optimized and resharpened and combines emotionality with intelligence. What do I mean about that? One of the features that we're going to tell you about today is that the vehicle has air balance. We offer this as an option. You can choose a fragrance that makes you feel comfortable in your car, whether you want to have a soft mood or you want to be energized. The design of the exterior and interior benefits are stylish. The vehicle's new appearance is defined in particular by its modified front end and design of the headlamps and taillights. High quality sculpted details underline the sophisticated look and feel. LED high-performance headlamps and the multi-beam LED headlamps with ultra-range high beam are available. The interior is sporty and has a premium look and feel. New interior colors and trim elements have been introduced. So today we'll actually be launching and showing you one of the new colors. I won't spoil the surprise yet. The C-Class also adopts the control and display concept from the current S-Class and comes with the option of a fully digital instrument display and 3 individually selected display styles. The C-Class has touch-sensitive controls in the steering wheel, which makes control of the functions easier. And they do this by a touchpad. Now we have everybody on board today, so I want you to challenge Thomas, Cara, Homer, Jason, the entire team to telling you all about the features. So without further ado, let's get the show on the road. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
We hear that it's sporty, spacious and sleek, but what else sets this vehicle apart from the others that we may come across?
The new look C-Class has come out with a lot of new features, including new colors, new interior trim elements, a fully instrument digital display, a larger media display, and multi-beam LED headlamps as an optional feature.
So talk to us about the demand for these high-end vehicles.
So the demand for luxury vehicles in Jamaica is high. We're very impressed, and we're hoping that the C-Class will hit the market strong and that the Jamaicans will love the new features as much as we do. In fact, our C43 AMG that we launched today has already been sold. The new look C-Class comes with an optional headlamp feature for LED high-performance headlamps or multi-beam LED headlamps. It also comes with a diamond grille, which is beautiful and makes it a classy and sporty look. The new look C-Class comes with several new trim options, including the one you see in this beautiful C300. The C-Class also comes with a larger media display screen, as you can see. The steering wheel also comes with touchpad and control buttons to make functions easier when you're driving. The new class has an option for a fully instrument digital cluster, which, as you can see, gives it a sporty, upgraded, fancy look. One of the cool features of the new C-Class is the energizing comfort control, where you can select a scent, music, and seats based on your mood. Refresh, vitality. Our C-Class also come with an anti-dazzle feature, which is for the rear view mirror and side mirrors, where if a car shines a light from behind you and it hits the mirror will tint so you only see what's directly behind you. This is such a useful and safe feature for driving at night.
Driving a German whip, driving a German whip. Yo! If you see man driving a German whip, blacked out window leaning back, see man driving a German whip, look like a ball of peas and that.
Mr. Stevenson, you've had previous Mercedes models. Speak to us about that compared to this. What would you say sets this one apart?
So what sets the C-Class apart is that it is actually the best-selling Mercedes of all time. So Mercedes have a lot of love for the C-Class. As you heard earlier, there's 6,500 new parts for the car, and that is the biggest overhaul for this car ever. So I think this car, they gave it a lot more love than previous ones. And the tagline for this car is never stop improving. And that meshes nicely with the Mercedes-Benz tag, which is the best or nothing. So you can expect to see a lot of really cool little features in this car, such as the fragrance that you can put in the car. There's 64 different types of ambient lighting. So this car is very much tied to the individual. It gets you in a mood, it gets you in a, I don't know, just wraps you up in a cocoon of awesomeness when you drive a car like this. So I think that that's what they've done with this car. They've made it intimate.
Let's talk price points and our payment plans available.
So we start at 11.4 for the C180, which is the entry level. And we do have financing packages. We have our in-house financing, which is Simpson Finance. Currently, they've got the best rate on the market at 6.99%. So now is a really good time to actually get in and get a financial package through Simpson Finance, because I think it's the 6.99% will last till the end of next month. So it's a good time to buy a C-Class or a Mercedes.
All right, so you've just had your C-Class Benz facelift launch. What's next for Stewart's Automotive Group?
Well, the group is always trying to bring something new to the market for the Jamaicans because we love our people. The closest thing in mind, we're coming out with 2 new models at Mitsubishi, the Traj and the Montero Sport. They should be coming early next year, and we're very excited to expand the models that we offer. I think the Jamaican public will be very happy with them as well.
In regards to the launch today, what would you say is your favorite feature of the new C-Class?
Well, I really like the updated interior, the new screens. It really brings a fresh look and it keeps up with the competition. The competition is always evolving and they have great vehicles, so it's good to see that our manufacturer is keeping pace and outdoing them, in my personal opinion.
that's it from us here. Until next time, I've been your host, Amita Prasad Webb, and thank you for tuning in to Business Access TV, serious about business.
I'm Don Webbick, Group CEO of Grace Kennedy. You are watching Business Access, serious about business.
Good evening and welcome to BATV News. I'm Kenil Gale. The Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, is outperforming the world again. That's according to Bloomberg News. The well-respected financial news outlet notes that the JSE has had the largest percentage of growth compared to about 90 other index markets around the world. Siobhan Keys has the details.
Globally recognized business and finance news source Bloomberg has placed the Jamaica Stock Exchange amongst the world's best performing equities markets for the last 5 years. In a news story published Wednesday, Bloomberg said that the JSE has amassed the largest percentage of growth over the period, growing by 233%. That's compared to some 90 other equities markets worldwide. This 5-year rally or continued growth of 233% sees the JSE leading by leaps and bounds. The closest to the local stock exchange was Vietnam's Ho Chi Minh Stock Index, which grew by 86%. That's followed by a 73% rally in the S&P 500 index. For 2018, the JSE's benchmark index has gained 19% in dollar terms and is expected to continue to grow as a result of the monetary reforms which have been taking place, such as reduced interest rates and reduced borrowing as part of the current IMF program. For BATV News, I'm Javon Keys.
President of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Winston Lawson, says some of the members have commenced sourcing alternative packaging material as the business group moves to support the government's pending ban on the use of specific categories of plastic. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Darrell Vaz, announced last month that starting January 1, 2019, a ban will be imposed on the importation, manufacture, distribution, and use of single-use plastic bags, commonly referred to as scandal bags. Styrofoam and plastic drinking straws will also be banned. The ban will not apply to bags used to maintain public health or food safety standards, such as those utilized to package raw meats, flour, sugar, rice, and baked goods such as bread. In an interview with GIS News, Mr. Lawson said at a recent meeting, members of the chamber took the decision to unanimously support the ban. Biochemist Professor Errol Morrison says the government's policy against sugary drinks in schools is a good initiative. However, he's taking issue with the message that's being sold in the media. Professor Morrison raised his concerns during a Lions Club of Kingston meeting today. Tashana Small has more.
The sugary drinks that are now being attacked, excellent approach, but needs some tweaking to get the message right, scientifically sound.
But how should they be tweaked? Well, Professor Morrison says sugary drinks are being branded as the sole cause of certain non-communicable diseases, and this is not true.
What we want to get across to the people, and I know what the media is trying to say, but it is coming across that sugary drinks cause diabetes. For the last 100 years and more, that question has been discussed, debated, investigated, and studied, and the answer is no.
However, he did acknowledge that sugary drinks cause obesity, but he emphasized that this happens when it's consumed in excess and not accompanied by any physical activity.
Young children in the more well-to-do neighborhood, they are being dropped at the gate from the cars. They have had breakfast, they are assured of, other meals for the day. For them, that bag juice is unnecessary and could be problematic. I want these messages to say that. But you can't knock a sugary drink in a child going to school hungry. That sugary drink, 50% of it, remember that, 50% of it goes to help the brain to function.
Meanwhile, clinical nutritionist at the University of the West Indies, Susan Suarez, says the key to understanding these ads is to pay more attention to the wording.
The ads that have been going out, if you really look at the wording carefully, it says sugary drinks causes obesity, and that's from the excess energy that you get. That, as Professor Morrison said, if you take in more than your body is using, then it will contribute to obesity. But if you look at the ad, we say that obesity can lead to illnesses like diabetes, NCDs, things like tooth decay in children.
In the meantime, Professor Morrison says this policy change should also be accompanied by mandatory physical activities in schools.
We want you to get on the Minister of Education's back. He knows, and he's very well aware, that this matter of, you know what you call PE, physical education, used to be mandatory in my time. From what you would now call grade 9, we call it third form, right? Now it's optional.
For BATV News, I'm Shoshana Small.
Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the maiden visit of the Carnival Horizon is a shot in the arm for the island's cruise sector. Speaking to JIS News following the inaugural visit of Carnival's newest and biggest ship in the company's Vista luxury line at the Ocho Rios Pier yesterday, Minister Bartlett said the Carnival Horizon is just a prelude to what is to come. He said the company has committed to have all its luxury vessels make a stop in Jamaica. The minister said he is particularly pleased with the thought of benefits, with the trickle-down benefits he has seen as it relates to craft vendors, tour operators, shop owners, supermarkets, and cab drivers. He said that with the commitment that the Carnival Horizon will join its sister vessel, the Carnival Vista, as regulars on the Western Caribbean itinerary, Jamaica now
the Nissan X-Trail with All-Mode I Technologies. No matter what the road throws at you, your story starts here.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Welcome back. Former Managing Director at NISOL, Carolyn Warren, appeared before Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, PAAC, this morning to answer questions about a controversial contract awarded to Peak Energy Solutions. More in this report.
Members of the PAAC questioned NISOL's former Managing Director, Carolyn Warren, about the fact that the organization under her leadership awarded a contract to Lenny Gordon as consultant for the installation of solar panels while he was still Managing Director at the Nationwide News Network. That was in April 2017. 3 months later, a company called Peak Energy Solutions was established to carry out the installation work. PAAC members became concerned after it was revealed that Lenny Gordon, the consultant, was the principal owner of the company that received the contract to carry out the installation. There was no formal contract, and the fact that Lenny Gordon was her former boss when she worked at Nationwide News Network raised eyebrows.
Mr. Gordon
I recommended Mr. Gordon.
was contracted to do scoping and developmental works in relation to the solar systems to be provided through the CAP project. Having done that, he formed a company.
After that, yes, I think like 3 months after.
Right, and the company was formed to now execute
solar
system.
Yes, throughout Jamaica, not just for NESA.
The contracts, which were totaled for more than $21 million for 19 sites, were to be completed by Peak Energy Solutions.
So far for Peak has been paid 12.5 million or thereabout. I think they're owed 9 point something million.
So they're above the threshold.
Oh, hold on. They're not above the threshold because they were done extension by extension.
Separate sites.
Separate sites.
So
we did not get everything from USF at one time.
BATV News checked the National Contracts Commission of Jamaica to find out whether Peak Energy Solutions was registered, a mandatory process to qualify for government contracts, but it was not. PAAC members demanded the procurement documents, citing that the contract surpassed the $2 million amount, which required a procurement process. Mrs. Warren sought to explain why procurement wasn't done.
Your question of why Peak and Peak alone, when Mr. Gordon did the first 3, Universal Service Fund was totally satisfied with what they got. During that time, when one was done, at the same time we were trying to find other persons. We were not successful, so Mr. Gordon just ended up doing those.
Mr. Chairman, please, that response is totally unsatisfactory. And I tell you, what was the process used to engage Mr. Gordon and subsequently Peak Energy directly? Mr. Gordon came on board anew in April. What was the process of engaging Mr. Gordon, who by the records subsequently become the dominant provider of these services to these many 19 sites?
For BATV News, I'm Jamila Maitland.
After being shelved for some 14 years, the construction of the Maxfield Park Housing Development Project will begin this next March. Some 210 housing solutions are slated to be constructed in the community. Prime Minister Andrew Holness broke ground for the project this afternoon. Jamila Maitland was there.
Hundreds of residents of Maxfield Park will finally benefit from the more than 200 housing solutions being constructed by the National Housing Trust. The project, which started in 2004, had over a decade of shelf life. But now, residents are finally witnessing the symbolic groundbreaking of the Maxfield Park housing development. The project, which has an $850 million price tag, is expected to be completed by 2021. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who has the responsibility for the National Housing Trust, described the groundbreaking ceremony as long overdue.
The project was conceived over a decade ago, as was pointed out by the Leader of the Opposition. It is a sad commentary on the process of our bureaucracy that it is taking so long to have it come to this point. But we are here and we are grateful and we are thankful.
Opposition leader and Member of Parliament for the constituency in which the project is located, Dr. Peter Phillips, underlined the importance of policy continuity. This, he said, will result in the development of Maxfield Park as one of Jamaica's ideal communities.
It's part of an integrated community development, which includes a sporting complex, upgraded schools, health center, worship facilities, and community facilities. And so it's been a long time. I think I should say that it's reflective of the fact that the bureaucracy takes a long time, too long, and oftentimes is insensitive to the plight of communities such as these. But I'm very happy.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the National Housing Trust, Lennox Channel, explained that the development will not only feature houses, but businesses as well.
There are 194 housing solutions, and there are some shop units which will have houses on top of them and so on.
which makes it 210 solutions. But in terms of families, you can put multiples, maybe 3, 4, onto that 210 into the 600 to 800 range. That would benefit.
For BATV News, I'm Jamila Maitland.
Stay with us. Regional and international news stories are up next.
GrowthTech is making connectivity like oxygen. Wherever you see the GrowthTech free Wi-Fi, feel free to connect. Watch, connect, and go, allowing you to chat, check, browse, and email securely. So when you're on the go and need to connect with friends, family, or a team member, or just stay updated, look for GrowthTech's free Wi-Fi. GrowthTech, making connectivity like oxygen.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back. Time now for regional and international news. Western Union in Antigua is closing its doors. Grace Kennedy Money Services, which operates the money transfer agency through a network of sub-agents, is ending a 12-year relationship with Antigua and Barbuda. More from ABS News.
The company says this decision has been taken after an in-depth review of the viability of its Antigua and Barbuda operations. It also says the move is in keeping with Grace Kennedy's long-term strategic goal to increase efficiencies and enable sustainable growth. The company ceased initiating money transfers from this country as of Saturday, September 28. It also stopped accepting new send transactions to the island on that date.
Transactions sent before last Saturday will be available for pickup until close of business tomorrow. Unpaid transactions sent to Antigua and Barbuda after tomorrow will be refunded to the senders.
The Jamaican-based company says it will continue to operate money transfer services in its 11 other markets.
Finance Minister Colm Imbert says the Trinidad and Tobago economy is already showing signs of growth. This, he argues, is proof that the government's fiscal consolidation plan is a success. In his address to stakeholders at the Chamber of Industry and Commerce's post-budget meeting last evening, he also made another startling announcement. TTT News' Dion Baptiste has more.
Despite queries and concerns about the 2018-2019 fiscal package, this announcement by the Finance Minister was a welcome one.
What we've tried to do this year is consolidate. That's why we have not increased taxes, and we have no plans over the next 2 years to increase taxes. I just want to let you know that from now, because we think we have increased taxes to the point where they're at a stable level, and there's no intention. We think it would be diminishing returns if we sought to increase individual income taxes and corporation taxes and other taxes at this point in time.
He said despite the challenges, the economy has grown by 2%, and through fiscal consolidation, we were able to avoid the IMF trap.
And we're going to continue to have deficit budgets for the next couple of years because we need to spend money on projects, we need to spend money on programs, we need to create incentives such as the small business incentive I've just spoken about. We need to keep improving the support system for the manufacturing sector, which has grown by 7%, and I've heard disbelief about that as well, but those are the figures.
Minister Imbert told stakeholders we already have a diversified economy and the non-oil sector has saved this country.
The non-oil sector is way beyond the energy sector in terms of its contribution to the economy, and we have to keep pushing that and doing whatever we need to do. But we have sectors that we're focusing on. We're focusing on tourism. We're focusing on agriculture. As I just said, we're focusing on manufacturing. We're focusing on ease of doing business, incentives for business, where we've reached the point where we no longer need to impose any new taxes on citizens. So now we can start looking at further incentives to start to build and grow the economy.
The finance minister said the government is satisfied that the fiscal consolidation program was successful and has put this country on a growth path. Dion Batiste, TTT News.
One of the largest employers in the U.S. is raising pay for its workers domestically and in the UK. Online retail giant Amazon will pay staff at least $15 an hour starting next month. In the past, the company has been criticized for its labor practices, including underpaying workers. Al Jazeera's Patty Culhane reports from Washington, D.C.
America has a problem. The divide between those with the least and those with the most is growing, and the gap is just getting wider. The economy is doing well, but wages are not rising. That statistic might soon see a bump. One of America's largest employers, Amazon, has announced that everyone who helps send these smiling boxes around the country will soon be paid more, at a minimum $15 an hour, more than double the national minimum wage.
It's not cheap. It's going to cost them $1 billion, I think, per year. It's not that they're able to raise prices or pass that through to customers. This is something their shareholders are going to fund. But I think that a lot of Amazon shareholders think this is the right thing to do.
That's what Amazon said was behind the move. It was the right thing to do. But it's also facing a lot of criticism, in large part because of its founder, Jeff Bezos. He is the richest man in the world, worth $165 billion. Breaking that down, he makes about $275 million each and every day. And Amazon is hugely profitable. In the second quarter of this year, it had a profit of $2.5 billion. So it can afford the raises. And with low unemployment, it might have to pay more to get in enough workers to move their merchandise. Still, the raise is being praised by Amazon's toughest critics.
What Mr. Bezos today has done is not only enormously important for Amazon's hundreds of thousands of employees, it could well be, and I think it will be, a shot heard around the world.
Not every economist thinks paying workers more will actually help decrease income inequality.
On the one hand, yes, workers in Amazon will benefit from this increase in basic pay. But in the longer term, Amazon is exactly the type of company which we'd imagine would invest in automation, and it'd be much more difficult for other companies, traditional retailers, to match this kind of offer.
America can often seem like two different countries, divided between the haves and have-nots. Economists will be watching to see if Amazon's move does anything to heal the divide. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera, Washington.
A new report from the New York Times is accusing U.S. President Donald Trump of tax fraud. Here's more.
He's always described himself as a self-made man who built his own fortune from scratch. But a New York Times investigation claims to have evidence calling the U.S. president's bluff, alleging Donald Trump inherited $413 million in today's money from his father's real estate empire, money he received through elaborate tax dodges. The president's lawyer has been quick to deny the claims.
President Trump had virtually no involvement whatsoever with these matters. The affairs were handled by other Trump family members who were not experts themselves and therefore relied entirely upon the aforementioned licensed professionals to ensure full compliance with the law.
The Times alleges that Trump's parents transferred assets worth over $1 billion to their children, and that Trump and his siblings set up a sham corporation to conceal the gifts. The newspaper said the report was based on interviews with Fred Trump's former employees and more than 100,000 pages of documents. The president's brother, Robert Trump, has issued a statement denying wrongdoing.
Our father's estate was closed in 2001 by both the Internal Revenue Service and the New York State tax authorities. Our family has no other comment on these matters that happened some 20 years ago and would appreciate your respecting the privacy of our deceased parents.
Donald Trump is the only US president to refuse to release his income tax returns. The New York Times findings raise fresh questions as to what exactly he's choosing to conceal.
Stay with us. Talking Stocks comes up next.
Calling all shopaholics and bargain hunters for one night of more retail therapy than you've gotten all year. Text your Glam Squad and get ready to check out your favorite stores on October 4 for Jamaica Observer's Take Style Out. There will be hours of massive discounts across Jamaica thanks to NCB, Campari Pop Style, Multilink, Business Access TV, and Island Car Rentals. Add it to your calendars, October 4, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Take Style Out is gonna be lit.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Welcome back. Time now for Talking Stocks. 59 stocks traded today, of which 32 advanced, 19 declined, and 8 traded firm. The main JC index advanced by 2,833 points to close at over 372,000 points. The junior index advanced by 14 points to close at 3,381 points. Over 6.6 million units traded today, valued at over $110 million on the Jamaican dollar market, while on the US dollar market, more than 54,000 units traded, valued at $54,024 US dollars. AMG Packaging and Paper, with more than 1 million units trading, accounted for 17% of market volume. JMB Group 7.5% VR Jamaican dollar preference shares with 740,000 units trading was second. Sagicor Group ordinary shares with over 500,000 units trading was third, accounting for 8% of the market volume which crossed the floor. The main advancers were Margaritaville up 4 cents to close at 24 cents, Fostridge up 52 cents to close at $3.82. Sagicor Real Estate X Fund ordinary shares up $1.57 to close at $13.09. The main decliners were Paul's Investments down 35 cents to close at $2.40, followed by Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances ordinary shares down $1.99 to close at $17, and Portland JSX ordinary shares down 49 cents to close at $9. In foreign exchange trading, the Jamaican dollar gained on all three major trading partners today. The US dollar ended the day trading for an average $134.24, losing 24 cents to the Jamaican dollar. The Canadian dollar ended the day selling for $105.04, losing 6 cents to the Jamaican dollar, and the British pound sold for $173.84, losing $1.31 to the Jamaican dollar. And that's the news, but before we go, a recap of our top story. The Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, is outperforming the world again. In a report today, globally recognized business and finance news source Bloomberg News noted that the JSC has grown by over 233% in the last 5 years. That's the news. Thanks for watching. For more content, please go visit our website at batvja.com. I'm Kenil Gale. Pleasant viewing.
On this episode of Wealth Magazine, we feature Chris Daring, CEO of Ready TV. Fascinated by sports, Daring has made this an integral part of his life, a passion which led to his first experience in the corporate world as an intern at Citibank. Over time, Daring proved to be a successful serial entrepreneur, with his newest undertaking being Ready TV, a venture that promises to revolutionize the telecommunications landscape.
I'm Chris Daring, President and CEO of Ready Communications. Born in Kingston, grew up in Mona, so I was a Mona boy. Grew up as a young footballer, cricketer, in playing football and cricket in Mona. In fact, every day, my entire childhood, I think of every day of playing football in Buttercup Park, which was right behind the house. I grew up in a very close-knit family, very disciplinarian family. My father was an engineer, very bright man, but a very strict disciplinarian when it came to things like academics. My mother was also quite strict and very keen on academics as well. So you certainly did your homework every evening and more with her. And she had I just always remember that she had just such an extensive vocabulary, you know, that you learned quite quickly. I have two brothers, one older, one younger, and an older sister, who was particularly influential in my life because of how bright she was. Because you were always being compared to her. You know, your grades were never ever good enough because she never ever got a B. It was always straight A's, that type of thing. And so you sort of were always intimidated. You never grew up under any illusion of male superiority. She was faster than me as well, so she could run pretty quickly, and she was brighter than me. So you always had this healthy level of respect. So it was a normal household, but you know, we would have dinners together and family vacations together. And it wasn't, you know, it was a middle class upbringing. We didn't have money for extravagances, but and I know there were very tough times for them. There was a period when my father was out of a job, but you would never know as a child. There was always meals on the table. There was always goodies and presents and Christmas parties and birthday parties. And looking back, I realized, wow, these two wonderful parents shielded me from everything, because I know that there must have been tough times. So that was a great upbringing, and I think it really helped to form, you know, who I am today. My life is a series of events that changed the trajectory of my life. And so, you know, looking back, the first major event took place in prep school at St. Teresa's Prep, where I was in kindergarten A. I just finished kindergarten A and was moving into kindergarten B. And I was sitting in the classroom in kindergarten B. And I remember the day the nun came for me and took me over to the big school. and put me in second grade. I didn't know what grade I was being put in, but I just remember being taken out of kindergarten with all my friends and taken over to the big school, because they were like two separate parts of the St. Teresa's Prep. And they put me in second grade. And halfway through the term, the nuns called my parents in for a meeting, because even though I was keeping up with the schoolwork, I was falling asleep, I was getting tired during the days. And they were worried that I was malnourished because I was a little small for a 7-year-old. That's when my mother said, but he's only 4. They had made a clerical error and had put me in second grade. I was 4 years old when they did that. But I guess because of the upbringing of my parents, I was keeping up with the schoolwork. But physically, I was getting tired. So even though I laugh and I think about it, I was the only person, because they made special arrangements. Because by that point, they could not put me back into kindergarten. I'm a second grader. But they made special arrangements every day where they would take me out for nap time. And I was the only person that had that privilege in second grade. So, but what happened is, why it changed the trajectory was it put me way ahead of my peers. But also when I finished prep school, I was too young to be able to sit the common entrance because you had to be 11. And so even though I finished top of the class in prep school in 6th grade, I could not sit the common entrance. So you literally had to find something for me to do. And in those days, there was a private high school by the name of Campion that was not part of the normal public secondary school system. They were a private high school. Campion then changed my trajectory, because being a private school, it was a school where the wealthy of Jamaica sent their children. And I saw a different side of Jamaica that I had never dreamt of. I saw wealth that I had never dreamt of. I saw cars that I had never dreamt of. People were, being dropped to school in cars. I was one of the few people at Campion taking the bus to school and back. So, it introduced me to a whole new world of Jamaica, and lifelong, again, friends and contacts that happened to be the top of the business world. And in fact, when I walked into first form, I didn't see anybody that kind of looked like me. There were very few people that looked like me. You're talking about just a different look, because it was a different social strata. And I went and sat down beside one person that kind of looked like me, and it turned out to be Peter Bunting. And so we've remained lifelong friends ever since. So high school for me was a blur of sports. That's what I remember. I just played every sport you could think of, because I love sports, and sports has always been a driving passion. I was absolutely sure I was going to play professional football or cricket for the West Indies. And I started off on the cricket side. I ended up playing on the 19 team with guys like Courtney Walsh and Patrick Patterson. We had a very strong team, and we went down to a tournament in the Eastern Caribbean, in Trinidad, I think it was, where we came upon a side called Little Leeward Islands. And I was batting number 3 for Jamaica, so I was a big bat and felt pretty good about myself and my technique and so on, and my talent level. And then there was a number 3 for Leeward Islands that, when he came to the wicket and started smashing Courtney Walsh and Patrick Patterson around the park, and I'm looking at this guy and I'm saying, I can't bat like that. You feel pretty good about yourself, but you look at this guy and you go, wow, you see the gap between yourself and this awesome talent. That guy turned out to be Richard Richardson, that was playing for the Leeward Islands, who ended up captaining the West Indies team at one point. And then I started to get a lot of pressure from my parents, especially my father, because this sports thing, this sports hobby in his mind was just not the avenue for somebody like me. And so he started to pressure me, and at one point I'd been getting all these offers of football scholarships that I kept turning down, because I wanted to stay out here and play professional football, eventually go to England maybe, or play for the West Indies in cricket. So eventually he gave me an ultimatum. You either take up a football scholarship or he's sending me to military school. So I ended up taking a football scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan. Came back from West Virginia to Jamaica thinking, well, I now have it made. I have a degree in marketing and economics. I'm gonna go get a job and start my corporate career. But I was in for a rude awakening, because Jamaica, like everywhere else in the world, it's who you know and contacts and family connection. So I ended up writing over 100 letters and sending out applications to over 100 companies in Jamaica. I did not get a single interview.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
So I ended up writing over 100 letters and sending out applications to over 100 companies in Jamaica. I did not get a single interview. So it was a very depressing summer where you're just reading all these rejection letters, not even an interview, like nobody was even interested in seeing me. And then sports again came to my rescue, and another event took place that changed my trajectory. I was playing for Real Mona, which has been my lifelong team that I've always played for. And the coach at the time was a guy called Peter Moses, who was also at Citibank. Peter, I think, noticed I was able to come to practice early every day because I wasn't working. And so Peter, you know, he did something that I'll thank him forever. He created a little post inside of Citibank, even against his own HR manager's objections, called an intern, so that I could come in, I get a little stipend, and understudy one of the main managers on managing corporate accounts. And as it turned out, I was understudying this young lady, and she met in a car accident, a very serious car accident. So somebody had to take over and manage the portfolio. I wasn't a full-time employee, but I'd been handling them. I'd been understudying her. So Peter kind of maneuvered me into being able to take over the portfolio. I started to do quite well with the portfolio. So they made me an offer full-time, and I went to Citibank, and of course that opened me to a whole new world of finance and international finance and investment banking, and they trained me on the job. I reunited with a schoolboy friend, Peter Bunting, at Citibank, and again we made the linkage again, and that is the genesis of how Daring, Bunting and Golding was formed. Peter went off and became the CEO of a small merchant bank, new merchant bank called Manufacturers Merchant. Around the same time, a group approached me to set up another merchant bank called Corporate Merchant. So I became the CEO of Corporate Merchant. There was a young attorney who was in fact not even a full-time attorney yet. He was still studying law at Oxford. But he was also a Campionite who we were all friends with. I used to play cricket with him, called Mark Golding. And Mark was just so bright that both Peter and I used to use him to structure any complex transactions whilst he was a student in law school. He was so bright. So one day we were still friends even though we were competing in the market. We were having lunch and we sort of were talking to each other about the deals we had been doing, and we kind of said, we should have probably have done it for ourselves rather than for these other entities, corporate and manufacturers and so on. And it stuck with me that it was a Friday and I was going to Negril that weekend with some friends, and I guess in a drunken stupor in Negril partying, it just occurred to me, it kept occurring to me, that line, we should have done it for ourselves. And I came back from Negril, I called Peter on the Monday morning and told him, I've just resigned from corporate. Are you in or are you out? And of course he was like, what are you talking about? I said, we just spoke on Friday that, listen, let's do it for ourselves. And he said, but that was just an idea. I said, Peter, I've already resigned. Because that's what I did. I went in and resigned and said, listen, I'm going to start an investment bank. And so we started Daring, Bunting and Golding, which started in the living room of the townhouse I was renting. And to demonstrate to the public what investment banking was, we said, let us take ourselves public. And so we launched Daring, Bunting and Golding. We raised capital from the market. And a really interesting thing happened the evening we successfully closed that share issue. And you have to understand, that had never been done really before on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. The Jamaica Stock Exchange was seen as this, really the kingdom of major corporations. So for three little youngsters to decide that they're going to launch their own investment bank and raise capital and list on the stock exchange, it was quite controversial and very high profile at the time because of its controversy. I recall, columnists writing about this travesty which was about to take place, and this, it was just seen as crazy. But something really interesting happened the evening that we had successfully closed that issue. We were driving in Marks, I think must have been a 1970 Fiat. I mean, it was really a beat-up old car. And we were driving from Duncox and North, where we had the closing of the issue, to Peppers to meet all our friends who were gathered there to celebrate. This thing had never been done before, and we were going to be listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And on Knutsford Boulevard, Mark's car broke down. And so the three of us, Daring, Bunting and Golding, ended up pushing Mark Golding's car all the way up Knutsford Boulevard to Mikey Holdings gas station at the top of the road. And it has always been a reminder for us, because here it was, we were related, we had raised all this money, and we were pushing a car up Knutsford Boulevard. And it really, kept us grounded, I think, for the rest of the time. During the time at the DBNG, then the West Indies Cricket Board came calling. And of course, being just a sports fanatic, and I always have been, I always will be a sports fanatic. When the West Indies Cricket Board comes to you and says to you, listen, we want you to give us some time, we want to help, we want you to set up the commercial operations of the West Indies Cricket Board and also pull together the region's bid to host the Cricket World Cup. It was an offer that was just, too good to refuse. And in fact, I thought they were asking me to do it for free. I didn't realize they were actually talking to me as a paid consultant. Frankly, I had lunch with Pat Russell, who I was meeting for the first time, and Teddy Griffith from the West Indies Board. And they outlined it to me, and I went home all excited, thinking, okay, well, I'm going to be like Pat, who is a volunteer, and Teddy as a volunteer to do this thing. And then they started sending over contracts with money and how much they were going to pay me to do it. And I was like, wow, that was just the icing on the cake, because I was already made up my mind I was going to go and do it. Now they were going to pay me to do it, to be a paid professional. And that again changed my trajectory, because it introduced me to a world, the commercial world of the business of sport, that I had no idea really existed. You kind of have a fleeting idea, but you did not understand how complex, how intricate, how exciting it is, So I ended up going to the West Indies Cricket Board. I set up the commercial operations of the board, hired different people, set up all of our broadcast rights contracts. I negotiated for years the broadcast rights agreements in the UK, in India, in Pakistan, in South Africa, Australia, the US. So that introduced me to a whole new world, because then you had to start doing negotiations and regular meetings with people like ESPN and Sky Sports and so on. So I got introduced to a fascinating world. And it was one day I was sitting in the skybox at a Chelsea match. Now, I'm not a Chelsea fan, I'm an Arsenal fan, let me make it clear. But it just happened to be a game Sky had invited me to. So I'm sitting there, it was 1999. And I'm sitting there watching this football match, and I didn't realize who I was sitting beside, but we were talking football. And he realized from how passionate I was and how knowledgeable I was about the game and the players and who had been the latest transfers and, and so on. He said to me, so the Barclays Premiership is very popular in the Caribbean. I said, yes, it is, but we don't get to see it live. He says, oh yes, that's right. We sell it as a part of the North American package of rights. So we don't, it's, the Caribbean is far too small for us to deal with. So I said to him, would you carve off the Caribbean? And I'm thinking I'd come down back to the Caribbean and try to sell it to the local stations to put it on so I could get to see my beloved Arsenal play. And he said, no, he happened to be the commercial director of the Barclays Premiership. And he said, no, it's too small, not interested. It would be too much hassle, for them at the Barclays Premiership to try and sell those rights directly into the Caribbean. So I didn't press it. We watched football, we chatted football and had a great time. And then at halftime, we were having dinner. And he says to me, tell me something, do you know Courtney Walsh? And my ears pricked up. I said, yes, Courtney is one of my best friends. And he was still playing cricket at the time. He was playing for the West Indies. And he was playing for Gloucester, so he was in England at the time. And he said, well, I'll tell you what. My son is a fanatic about Courtney Walsh. He's a young fast bowler. His 15th birthday is coming up. He's modeled himself off of Courtney Walsh and everything, just idolizes Courtney Walsh. If you can get me an autographed picture of Courtney Walsh, I'll see what I can do about carving off the Caribbean rights. Well, I called Courtney right away. Courtney took him out to lunch, him and his son out to lunch, had a training session with the kid, and that was the genesis of Sportsmax. He carved off the Caribbean Barclays Premiership rights for me. We bought it at a steal, virtually nothing, and we said, okay, what to do? I took it to the 2 stations that I knew of in Jamaica and a couple of stations in Trinidad. Nobody was interested in showing the Barclays Premier League. So I said, well, what do I do with these rights? Let me start a sports channel. And so right on a plane, I did a little PowerPoint presentation with the logo and everything, came up with the name Sportsmax, and launched Sportsmax in 2001. Cable and Wireless had fallen on pretty hard times. They were being decimated by the competition, and I think that's what attracted me the most. To get into an industry that I was already familiar with through the sports rights, and turn around a company. One of the first things we were able to do is to turn around the market in terms of its own mobile market share, which had been down in the doldrums, and turn around the brand. So that was an exciting opportunity. For us to have such a significant portion of the population not being exposed to all of this information really holds us back.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, products launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Ready TV is the first product of what we're anticipating to be a range of telecommunications related products. It is a pay TV platform. It is a pay TV service that we're going to roll out in Jamaica, where we should be rolled out by the first quarter 2017. We want to be the affordable choice for Jamaicans. We have a 12-year license that we were just awarded by the Broadcast Commission. And we're going to be rolling out that service that I think Jamaicans are going to be very, very pleased to receive. Most of Jamaica, or certainly a very significant part of Jamaica, still only gets free-to-air analog television. Our goal is to totally change that. Cable television or pay TV and the programming and information of pay TV is still the most important, ubiquitous way of sharing information and education. So for us to have such a significant portion of the population not being exposed to all of this information really holds us back. It is I guess the starter pack for broadband. So everybody's talking about getting internet into everybody's homes. In reality, let's first get basic, proper television into everybody's home. And I think, you know, people are going to be very surprised and very, very pleased on both counts, both the convenience and the affordability. And basically our tagline of TV when you are ready is going to be very apt in describing Ready TV service. It is not possible to compete if you don't back yourself. Because life is a competition. Anything that you're going to do, you're going to be competing against somebody. And if you don't back yourself, you have no chance, either against the strongest competitor or the weakest competitor. You have to back yourself. You have to believe in your ability to overcome whatever challenges are going to face you. You know, I see so many people coming out of UA, and a lot of them are women. The vast majority of them are women. But for some reason, society has almost trained them not to back themselves. They're the ones that need to be taking entrepreneurial risks. They have the foundation. And they have far more ability to compete. They just don't realize it. Now, more and more women are realizing that. But generally, whether male or female, you have no confidence in your ability, you'll never succeed. And confidence does not mean arrogance. It means just believing that, hey, if I don't know what I need to know, I can find out what I need to know and learn it. A lot of people think I'm a snob, which is strange. Yeah. It's strange to me, but I understand it. I'll tell you something. I'm terrified of flying, for instance. As much as I fly, I know. And my friends know this, my close friends know this, because they know the night before I have to fly, I find difficulty sleeping. And there's just something in my brain that just won't comprehend how they're keeping this huge monstrosity of a machine up in the air for 14 hours, like when I have to make a trip to India or somewhere. So I'm afraid of flying. So when I walk into a plane, one of the things that gets me nervous is when I actually look back in the plane and see this long cabin full of people. So I will totally just ignore everybody, you know, and there'll be people back there who know me, who trying to catch my eye to even say hi, and I'm not looking back because I know I'm anxious. And then that's then misinterpreted as, hey, Chris, why such a snob kind of thing. But it's really, I just can't look back. And then of course, it's almost impossible to be a snob if you play football. I mean, football is played in the ghettos of Jamaica. That's who you grow up with as your friends, that, you know, people who you love. I garden every day, in the morning before I go to work, at night when I get home. And gardening ranges everything from plants, breaking off a piece of a plant and plant it and trying to get it to catch. So yes, I'm a kleptomaniac when it comes to plants. I go to people's houses and break off pieces and steal plants. To watering, just watering the garden just relaxes me quite a bit. Of course, I have a fantastic family. I have a beautiful wife and a fantastic 4-year-old daughter who keeps me very energized. I have a 22-year-old son who gives me nothing but trouble, so that always keeps you on edge as well. It occupies your time, and so I enjoy spending a lot of time with them, and so I enjoy that quite a bit. My wife is Brazilian, so, you know, again, these things, trajectories and events that take you into the unbeaten world. The funny thing is, football is still my favorite sport. As much as time I've spent in cricket, I'm fanatic over football. So I've been to every football World Cup since 1990, you know, and I always pretended to be Brazilian, except in '98, of course, when Jamaica went. Because I just loved the way the Brazilians played and celebrated the game. Going to a Brazil Football World Cup game, that party starts 6 o'clock in the morning and ends 6 o'clock the next morning. It's a fantastic, just to be part of the Brazilian continent. So I would put on my Brazilian shirt and go to all these matches pretending to be Brazilian. So when I met this really beautiful Brazilian girl who happened to be working for Cable & Wireless in Miami, you know, I guess fate kind of ended up bringing us together. Wealth is being able to enjoy your life, and so it doesn't mean that you have a lot of money. It means that you're satisfied with the money you have and enjoy it to ensure that you have a quality of life that for you and your family that you want to enjoy. And I certainly feel wealthy because I have incredible friends that I have a great time with. I have an incredible family that I have a good time with, and we're able to put food on the table and put people through college, and you know, so I feel wealthy because of that.
I'm Adam Stewart. This is Business Access TV, serious about business.
The Flow Foundation, formerly known as the Lime Foundation, which is the philanthropic arm of telecoms provider Flow, is continuing its tradition of providing support in different areas of society with the focus of connecting communities and transforming lives, where people can work, play, and communicate.
Foundation was established in 2003. And the simple reason for it, we have always given back, but we wanted to have a more structured way of doing it. I headed the public relations function at that particular time, and our philanthropy came through, our philanthropic activities came through the public relations department. But then other departments used to do their own, and we thought it would make sense to just have a structure. And so the foundation was put in place. The foundation seeks to assist Jamaican young people to improve their education. We happen to be in a position where we can help with e-education, meaning giving them access to stuff online, opening up the vistas of the internet to them. And so at the foundation, our primary mandate is about the proliferation of free internet access to all primary schools, and I mean all who asks or ask. Anywhere we have facilities, any primary school that asks us for internet access, they get it, and they get it for free. Currently we have about 400 schools that we give. We also have an emphasis around literacy and reading, and with that we work through the Jamaica Library Service. But it's just all together, education, education, education for young people. Well, I think it should just be almost like reflex, that you give back if you're making money in the society. I think every company that, let me put it this way, every company that makes a profit should give back some into the society. They can choose the way they want to do it. They can link up with other entities and see if together they can make a bigger difference than they by themselves.
The pen relays for the Flow Foundation, according to Mr. Miller, is the biggest single-ticket item in terms of funding for the foundation.
Look, Pen Relays provides an international stage for young Jamaicans, obviously very talented because all of them have done well for their schools. A lot of them do well academically. We don't see all of that being put out necessarily in the media, right? But we hear about their athletic prowess. Now, we want to give them a platform on which they can showcase their talents. There are hundreds of scouts, especially when they hear Jamaicans are coming, who are at the Pen Relays every year. And you never can tell. That might be the avenue they use to pick up a scholarship, pick up an endorsement, and maybe a brand new future. You know, probably could be the key to the future for some. As you know, a lot of the athletes, the student athletes we have, consistently get scholarships every year. And Penn is one of the avenues, and it's as simple as that. First of all, we believe we should support Jamaican youth, as we said. And secondly, we should give them a leg up in things like Penn Relays. Let them go out there and showcase it, and let people see them and say, hey, let's go talk to that youngster, whether it's a girl or a boy, and who knows, it could be off to new things and new territories for them. The vision for the foundation is about continuing to help as many young Jamaicans as we can, to draw as many more as we can into the net in terms of helping them on the way as far as education is concerned, because no matter what anybody says, it is the only way out of some of the circumstances that a lot of our young people find themselves in. BizTown is a Project Jamaica Junior Achievement, right? And we were really attracted to it. My boss was approached. He was very positive, but he asked me to give him my opinion, and there was no hesitation, because a lot of people know BizTown, where they set up a sort of mock city, a mock town, and there are companies in there, JPS, there's Flow, there are several others. And what it does is teach the kids in a real way what actually happens in business. So they learn that they have to work to get paid, and they do get paid, albeit in funny money, right? They learn how to spend that money buying commodities that are offered by the other companies in there. They learn how to transact business. They learn how to fill out checks. They learn how to fill out forms that companies use. So you're giving them an early introduction to some of the things they never used to have. And even if they have it, this is a more practical way of doing it. So these kids, you start to talk to them about getting into business, getting a job, and maybe even entrepreneurial thoughts are going through their heads. So that's, in a nutshell, basically why we couldn't not support this project.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall.
Unsecured loans.
Alleged corruption.
Follows the closure.
If they made this investment.
Brokers
strive to increase revenues.
These sought some answers.
Financial meltdown.
Here are the week's final. Here's Gar. News Roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Keneal Gale. Saturdays and Sundays.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On Point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
As part of its continued mandate, they sponsored a one-week summer camp for children at Jamaica Biz Town.
Flow is the major sponsor of the Biz Camp this year, so it's Flow Biz Camp. We're very happy to be on board. We're so delighted that we're able to facilitate this experience for you. We're happy that through Mr. Robinson, we're able to get this opportunity to again transform lives, again make a difference.
The Flow Biz Camp, which is a one-week camp catering to children in the surrounding communities. Most of them are aged 10 to 13, and it's an opportunity to expose them to business, how to run a business, how to operate a business, how to manage cash, how to manage responsibility. And many of the things that they learn here during the week are not normally taught in the traditional school curriculum. So we felt it would be an important lesson for them, not just for school, but for life and for their own personal development. Earlier in the summer, we had in about 9 communities, we had a 2-week summer camp, and in fact we took 10 students from each of those camps, and they are now here for the 1-week period. The summer is always a long period. Sometimes the parents can't afford to send the kids to summer camp, so we organize activities which allow the kids to be involved in some organized activity, something that they'll learn from, something which will help them for the upcoming school year, and something which ultimately will assist in their personal development and growth.
BizTown is an experience for our grade 5 students. Understanding why they go to school. I mean, they go to school every single day and they learn, and then it's years before they actually get to experience putting that learning into place. And so with BizTown, they actually get to see that, and it motivates them to see what their future will be like, making sure that work is a part of it, and seeing themselves as leaders and working throughout the system, right? So whether as a guard, whether managing guardsmen, working at the bank as a teller, or being the CFO, all these companies, JPS. What I like too is that it's a mix of careers. So you have the technical skills, and so like I mentioned, JPS, they get to understand this engineer, there's an engineer that works there, head of power plant, meter reader, GB Energy, same thing. And so each of these different jobs, CB, it's not just about the food, it's about how you work with people. It's about rearing chickens and the different, so they understand more than just maybe what they see at the cash or the checkout counter, and understand how much work is involved in working. So as parent, I'm a parent of 2 boys, and for them to experience what I have to go through every day, will allow them to say, okay, Mommy, you work hard. I understand now, and I understand money is not, it doesn't go on until infinity. It does have an end point, and so I have to balance and I have to budget better. And so these are the experiences that at age 10, they're learning. Imagine what they're going to be after. Our mantra and our mission is really to empower our Jamaican youth. So there's a lot of work to get done. We always look for partners to help us to expand the work. BizTown is for primary school, but we have a high school program that's expanding nationally as well. All grade 9 students are supposed to be doing entrepreneurship, and it's like this. It's not a facility, but it's hands-on. It's not just learning the theories of entrepreneurship, but they have to run a business. And so we'll be there guiding each of our 160 plus high schools around the country, working with the private sector as volunteers, working with entities and the Ministry of Education to make sure that our students understand what it is to not just come up with an idea, but to transform it into a business and then run the business. The ebbs and flows, the challenges. We've had students that sometimes they're in HR and they have to fire another student because they're not living up to the company standard. It's not just a friend and friend thing, but they're learning that in high school. And one of the biggest complaints I hear from the private sector is that sometimes they don't feel the students are prepared for the working world. But these structures like a BizTown, like a JACE program, help us to prepare our students. So arm in arm with the ministry, we're changing the school system, and we're very excited to be a part of that. Flow has been a staple in BizTown, so they're one of our founding storefront owners. Matter of fact, all of these companies are. But Flow also partnered with the local community through a partnership with Julian Robinson, and said, you're doing great work throughout the year, and they're already supporting that. But during the summertime, especially in August, there are not a lot of summer programs. And so it gives an opportunity to get into trouble. But they thought it'd be great for them to come back and learn some more in a fun way and get ready for school.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop, or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
This is Weekend Business Report. economic windfall,
unsecured loans,
alleged corruption,
follows the closure.
if they made this investment,
Brokers
strive to increase revenues.
These sought some answers. Financial meltdown. Here are the week's final. Here's Gar. News Roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Keneal Gale, Saturdays and Sundays.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, Fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Jamaica Biz Town is operated by a mayor who ensures that the town operates smoothly and its people taken care of.
It has been very interesting. I've been very busy because, as you can see, I have the heaviest file out of everybody else. And I have to be walking around, making sure all the business are going smoothly and according to plan. I know how Angela Brownberg feels now because it's very, very hard, but she always have a smile on her face. I don't know how she do it because it's a lot of work, a lot of hard work, and I've never thought of working with the government, but I like it. I would do it as a full-time job.
My name is Dina K. Johnson, and I am the CFO of the Jabiz Town TV. I am the Chief Financial Officer, which is what CFO means. I write the checks, I give the paychecks, I deal with the bills, write the utility bills and all the bills that needs to be paid. My day is pretty hectic because every minute someone from a company comes to me and says, you need to pay this for the bills, you need to pay this for the bills. And the amount of bills I've signed, I'm surprised that I haven't given away the company yet. Because we don't have everybody, I have to be being the meteorologist, and me and the CEO have to be being the TV anchor. Yes, we have to be doing all those stuff. We have to be writing up things for kids, even when we're not supposed to do that. We're still doing it because guess what? We all work together as a team. I want to say thank you to Flow because if it wasn't for them, I don't think we would have this.
My name is Onika Brown and I am the CEO of First Global Bank. I am the person that is ensuring that everything runs smoothly, the customers are well serviced and everything runs smoothly, and I'm the person that ensures that the bank sellers are doing their job. I understand what the CEO of a bank is going through, and I would think I would recommend this job for myself because I can't take the pressure and it's just too much, but I like the experience and I think I'll probably recommend it to other persons.
I'd like you to put your hands together and to thank Flow for sponsoring this camp, because without Flow's sponsorship, we would not have a camp. They actually did it last year, and they are back again this year, and we hope for many more years to come. The purpose of this camp is really to provide some exposure to you in areas of business, to understand a little bit more about business, how to run businesses, to understand a little bit about banking, because many of these things are not taught in the traditional school curriculum. So we hope you were able to take lessons away from it, lessons that you can use in your everyday life.
I'm really glad to hear that you've enjoyed, that you've learned. And as Mr. Robinson said before I spoke, you have got some skills now that will help you in ordinary things in your life. It don't mean that you're going to leave here right now and to become an accountant or you're going to be a top executive at Flow, but you got an idea of what goes on in the business world. So I just implore you to just build on what you've learned, even think about it when you go home, maybe practice some of the things that you can make up your own checks, for example, write them up, show your mother and father if they don't know how to, and just keep building on that as you go through school.
At the end of FlowBiz Camp, certificates and gift vouchers were awarded to all who participated.
It has been an honor to serve as your mayor today. You all have been great citizens. For the past several weeks at school, we have learned about J.A. Baystown and what it takes to work in a business and a consumer. When I imagined J.A. Baystown, I thought it would be a lot of work, really fun, very busy, and kind of confusing. J.A. Baystown is much bigger than I expected, very cool, tons of fun, very educational, hard work. It takes teamwork, being organized, following rules, good manners. Thank you again to our teachers, volunteers, J.A. Baystown staff, and all the companies that make Baystown possible and a success.
I want to say thanks to Flo for giving me this experience. It was a very fun experience and I would like to come back next year.
It was very good, because I met a lot of new people because I don't know anybody at the camp really. And I met a lot of new people and it was fun. I learned a lot of stuff about checks and writing up checks, about the bank, and because in the future I wanted to be a bank teller and I did learn a lot about that and it was good. And today was even better because I was pretending to be a CEO and I was going to get to dress up like a CEO and pretend and do the jobs and responsibilities that CEO would do. And I won Citizen of the Day award.
My experience was nice. It was kind of fun. Yeah, when I came on Monday, I didn't really know anybody. And I was hoping to make new friends, which I did. And I learned a lot how the different paying methods, how to write checks and bank deposits. And today was very, very fun. I appreciate that Flo and Junior Achievement sponsored this camp to make it a possibility.
I would like to say thanks to Flo for putting on this business camp for us because I've learned a lot since I've been here. I've learned about banking, being responsible. They're preparing us for the future because it's not easy being out there as an adult. And I don't think we as children know that, but I found out today because I always thought, whoa, growing up, having my own house, and I always have money to spend, but it's not like that. And yes, I thank them again. It's a great experience. Thank you, Flo.
Thank you, Junior Achievement. Thank you, Flo, for this great experience.
We live here, we work here, we make our money here, and we have an obligation to put back money into the society. Simple as that.
I'm Jean Laurichin, and I'm the Executive Director of ProCom, ProDev, and CCRP. BATV had heard about our outreach arm, which is a Caribbean community of retired persons. I think BATV is having a very positive impact. And as a result of that excellent feature, we got more members. So clearly people are watching BATV. I always say to my clients, you should have a 360-degree campaign. Do not limit yourself to one media house. And especially those who are in business, I think it's very important to include BATV in their portfolio.
Your business matters. Promote it on Business Access TV.
As a teacher for over 8 years, we need to realize that the children are our future. We need to love them, appreciate and respect our children. No more violence against children. No more!